Life is not going to get better. You need to get better. Are you scared your fearful thoughts will manifest? Are you scared to think about certain doom scenarios and fears and you avoid them in your mind because you're scared that they will manifest? I am here to tell you that you have no reason to be afraid of your fearful thoughts and that they will manifest. Actually, what I'm telling you to do here is to think about your fearful thoughts, because this will actually help you manifest what you want. And I'll explain in this video how this works. So many of us are so afraid of our thoughts and we try to avoid the doom scenarios, we try to avoid the fears. Little do we realize is that these fears still continue to exist within us. Just because we're not thinking about it doesn't mean that fear isn't still part of our frequency, isn't still part of our system, our vibration. So actually, just by not thinking about it, it is actually permanently stored in our subconscious. We're pushing it away from our conscious mind to our subconscious, and it is still part of our frequency, and it can actually still manifest. Because what is the thing that manifests? It's not the thoughts. It's not the loud conscious voice that we hear. It is the feelings that we have. It is the frequency that we emit. And most of us are 99% subconscious manifestors, which means that there are all of these feelings that are stored in our system, not aware to our conscious brain. We are not aware of these feelings, right? But they still exist. They're still within us. They might feel like this anxious lingering feeling in the background, or this feeling of discomfort, or this pattern of you to always grab your phone when you're somewhere, or to always have food available, or to always watch a TV show to distract yourself. This can all be signs that there are stuck fears in your system. Now, we all have stuck fears in our system. If you didn't, then you would be awakened, enlightened. But so you do. But then you're afraid to think about them. You're afraid to think about your fears, especially because you're into manifesting and you've learned about how things can manifest when you visualize them or repeat them. But just by not thinking about them, they're still in our frequency, they're still in our system, and they can actually still manifest. You know what is gonna happen? This is why they're still gonna manifest. You're consciously not thinking about them, you're suppressing your fears, but they're entering your subconscious feelings. They're still part of your frequency. Now, life and the universe wants you to feel it. They want you to acknowledge the fear. But what are you doing? You're not thinking about them. You're avoiding them in your head. So what does life have to do? Life has to then manifest an event for you, a physical event in this physical 3D reality, for you to feel that fear, for the fear to come out, for you to experience it. All life wants to do is make you feel what is stuck in your system. So if you avoid your fearful thoughts, they just suppress, they will still be part of your frequency, they're still part of your vibration, and they will actually manifest. They will manifest an event for you to acknowledge this fear finally, to feel it, right? Maybe you are someone that goes through a lot of failures. You go through a lot of rejections, maybe by people in dating, maybe by jobs, whatever it is. This is your biggest fear, to be rejected. And you apply for a job, or you are going on a date, and you're avoiding the thought of rejection, right? Now, it is still very much part of your frequency. What does life need to do? Because you are not consciously acknowledging this fear, feeling the emotion, letting it come out. It has to actually make you go through another rejection in order for you to feel it again and again and again, until you fully feel the emotion. So why do you then actually have to think about your fearful thoughts in order for them to be released, in order for them to not manifest? If you process your fear and maybe visualize in a meditation the scariest thing there is, visualize it, the fear can come out, the emotion can come out without life needing to throw an actual circumstance at you. This is just a visualization, an imagination. But the emotion can still be felt to its full depth because your imagination and your visualization is so strong. This capacity that we have as humans, it's insane that your body doesn't really care whether things are real or not. If you visualize the scariest thing there is for you, the rejection, the insects, I don't know what your biggest fear is, right? Losing someone. If you have the courage to visualize it, to feel it, to let it break you, to let it break your heart, until you feel a moment of relief and release of that emotion, of that fear, it will actually not manifest, because now you've felt the emotion. Now you've released it. Now you've let it out. So I'm telling you probably the most opposite thing from the thing you've been believing thus far, which is you should not think fearful thoughts, right? You should not visualize things that you don't want to happen. But actually this can be a very, very powerful practice for you to experience and release emotions and trauma that are stored in your vibration anyway, without life actually needing to provide you physical 3D circumstance for you to feel this. It's like if we have released the frequency of grief from our system, to what extent this can fully be done, but if we can process this fear of it and think about it and release it, I know this seems very scary, but then we can actually let it go, and life doesn't need to throw circumstances at us immediately to make us feel them. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about subconscious manifestation, because most of us are completely subconsciously manifesting only, right? And the things we are trying to consciously manifest, they're not coming. Because again, it's not the thoughts that manifest. It's the feelings that we have. It's the frequency. It's how we feel overall. If I ask you right now, how do you feel? Or if I ask you right now, think about your desire. How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel anxious? Does it make you feel stressed? Does it make you feel on edge? Does it make you feel like when? How? All of these questions? Well, in this case, you are in a lacking vibration around your desire. One thing I've really been shown once again and again and again is that the weirdest part about manifestation is that we have to let go of desire. It can't be something you want. It can't be something you need. It can't be something you need to happen in order to be happy. If this is the case for you, if you are waiting for this thing, if you need this job, if you need this person, if you need this relationship, if you need this money, it will not come to you, because the need is a desire, is a lack. We only need things we don't have. So this is the very conflicting part about manifestation, conscious manifestation, this practice that we try to do. We have to not need it. So you want this money, you want this relationship, you want this thing. But the work is actually getting yourself to a place where you don't need this thing. You don't need it. You don't need it to be happy. In fact, you're fine either way. Of course, you'd like it to happen. There's nothing wrong with wanting a thing on a very subtle light energy. Do you see the frequency I'm trying to portray? Of course we want this thing, but it will happen, right? It will happen eventually. We trust, we put faith, and we let it go. We let it go, and we rather focus on doing everything in the present moment to make ourselves feel better, right? Life is not going to get better. You need to get better. You need to get better first in order for life to get better. And this is the most contradictory part to our feelings. We first have to fix ourselves before life can become better. Well, what are we doing? We're endlessly waiting for life to get better because then we'll feel better. But this cannot work. This is the limitations of this physical 3D reality that we live in. Life cannot get better if you don't get better, right? So what to do? Fix you. Fix you. Fix how you feel. Take good care of yourself. Take good care of your health. Sleep enough. Get enough exercise. Stretch your body. And most importantly, and I always emphasize this, meditate. Why? Why is meditation so important? Well, a million reasons. First of all, you become a conscious manifestor because this subconscious mind of you has been subconscious because you don't listen. And you've been subconsciously manifesting because you don't listen to what is going on in you. You're always distracted, you're always on your phone, you're always watching TV, you're always eating something, you're always in company, you're never alone with your thoughts. Meditation is being alone with your thoughts. It's not thinking. It is being alone with your thoughts and feelings and dropping into such pure presence, not in the future, not in the past, although our thoughts might bring us there somewhere, but we can bring ourselves back if we want to. It's a choice. We actually listen. We become the listener of their thoughts instead of the thinker. So we don't stop thinking. We listened to the thoughts. We become the observer of the mind. And this is when our awareness grows. First, we had 2% consciousness. Now, we're actually slowly entering the subconscious mind because we're listening and listening and listening and listening. The longer you do this, the more silent you sit without moving, spine straight, the better. The more access that you gain to your subconscious mind, and the more you will become aware of everything that you're manifesting, because you'll suddenly realize all of these fears that are stuck in your system. And now I've explained to you as well, you don't have to be afraid of these fears. You don't have to be afraid to visualize a fear, to feel it, to experience it. This can actually be a beautiful release. Now, another reason why meditation is so important is because you take this capacity to listen to your brain, to your thoughts, and be with yourself, with you, with everything. You become more conscious when you eat food. You become more conscious when you listen to music, or when you walk outside, or when you do anything. Meditation is, you sit down and you meditate, but then meditation you can actually always do. It becomes a practice of life. But most of us are never used to being alone with our thoughts, so we always need this distraction, this phone, this TV show, this food, this company, because we can't be alone with our thoughts. And it is scary in the beginning, and this is why we practice it in meditation, to be alone with the mind, to listen. Because if we never listen, we have no clue of what we're manifesting and creating into this world, because all of it is just in our subconscious. We avoid it with our conscious mind. And all of the feelings that we're experiencing, we're not even acknowledging them. We're not feeling them. But they're still manifesting. They're still creating our reality. So I want to leave it at this. If you need my personal guidance in life coaching and spiritual healing, I do sessions one-on-one. If you want to reach out to me, coaching@davidctram.com. And for the people that really want to shift their life in a period of 5 weeks, and go from their current self into a highest self timeline, I've created a very comprehensive 5-week identity shifting course where you get guided practices, daily journaling, weekly coaching videos, and live Q&A sessions. And you can reach out to me through chat as well, 24/7, to ask me questions. So this is really for people that need that guidance of like where to start, what to do, what practices to do at which point. And then in a period of 5 weeks, I help you to timeline shift from your current self to your highest potential self. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you. I love you. Leave me a like, a comment. Tell me what you thought about all of this, or if you have any additions for me. I'd love to read them. And I'll see you in my next video. Sending you my love.